art forms within Satanist circles through use of portable incinerators and crematoria, and because there are no birth or baptismal records, no records of existence, of intended victim infants. Nevertheless, we have enormous amounts of anecdotal evidence indicating that some thousands of infants and children are intentionally conceived and born to serve as victims in Satanist sacrificial rites. In the world of Satanist worship, boys are preferred as gender replicas of the Christ child, but girls are by no means excluded. In this regard, the emergence of child abuse as a characteristic of our time must claim particular attention. Not all, perhaps not even most, child abuse originates in ritualist Satanism per se. Each case must be weighed on the evidence. But the extent of child abuse in America today, and the concrete evidence of Satanism as a factor in many such cases, begins to give some idea of the degree to which the inverted standards that are the prime hallmark of Satanist activity in any form, and of ritualist Satanism above all, have infiltrated and influenced all levels of our society. As horrifying as even that much information is, though it is not all of the information we have by any means, still more shocking is the realization of the fact that in this, the America of the 1990s, one is never far from a center where such activity is carried out on a routine basis. No one lives far from some geographical area where some form of ritualistic Satanism is practiced. Ritualistic Satanism and its inevitable consequence, demonic possession, are now part and parcel of the atmosphere of life in America. That a more favorable climate exists now than ever before for the occurrence of demonic possession among the general population is so clear that it is attested to daily by competent social and psychological experts, who for the most part appear to have no religious bias. Our cultural desolation, a kind of agony of aimlessness coupled with a dominant self-interest, is documented for us in the disintegration of our families, in the breakup of our educational system, in the disappearance of publicly accepted norms of decency in language, dress, and behavior, in the lives of our youth, everywhere deformed by stunning violence and sudden death, by teenage pregnancy, by drug and alcohol addiction, by disease, by suicide, by fear. America is arguably now the most violent of the so-called developed nations of the world. Parents do have every reason to be concerned, then, for above all, the greatest changes in the conditions in which we have come to live over the past 20 years or so have meant that young people are left as the most defenseless against the possibility of possession. Raised more and more in an atmosphere where moral criticism is not merely out of fashion, but prohibited, they swim with little help in a veritable sea of pornography. Not merely sexual pornography, but the pornography of unmitigated self-interest. Whether spoken or acted out without explanation, the dominant question of the younger generations among us is, what can you do for me? What can my parents, my friends, my acquaintances, my enemies, my government, my country do for me? The difficulty is that as individuals and as a society we are no longer willing, many of us are no longer able, to give an answer to that question that will satisfy anyone for long. Such pervasive cultural desolation is the most fertile ground one could possibly imagine for the causes of possession to take root and flourish in almost unimpeded freedom. It is in this context that Satanism, including ritualized Satanism, is causing such justified fear among so many parents for their children. For it is in that context that at least some may best be sought out by that ancient enemy of our race, who, in the words St. Peter used in one of his letters, prowls around like a lion, seeking whom he can devour. To describe the situation in which Satanist activity is flourishing around us is one thing, but it is essential to identify in an equally candid manner at least a few of the major cultural and religious factors that have contributed most importantly to such a state of affairs. In doing so, it is difficult to resist the conclusion that the vigorous state of ritualist Satanism and the difficulty of dealing with it effectively are at least enhanced by the noticeably changed mentality among Christian churchmen. As a Roman Catholic priest, I speak most pointedly of Catholic bishops and priests, but there is responsibility enough to go around, alas. Exorcism, as exemplified in the 5 cases